My own insecurity. I did not like my hair. I did not feel comfortable in my own skin. I didn't feel good unless my hair was straight. If there's anybody you want to work with, just email them. Find them or their people and email their top people or them. My site went from doing 300 folks a day to millions a month, just
Wow.
like overnight. Like whatever you get excited about, don't let yourself talk yourself out of it.
When you ask a question, what do you do after you ask a question? You get quiet so you can hear the answer.
The words are only there to hold you in your own silence. So you say if you know where you're headed, you're on somebody else's path. I never know. I don't know right now. I just can see the next step and I take it. Trust feels like love. The trust sounds like silence. And you get shown exactly when you need it and not a moment before. Yes.
It doesn't tell you two stops before. It
That's
tells you
good.
only the next ones. Once you do that, I'll give you the next thing.
That's it. I am stubborn. And I was around before the influencer game even came to be a thing. Like curlynikki.com was in existence before Instagram. It's hard to get people to listen to your idea and not just push their agenda. I found the most challenging was staying authentic, being able to stay myself in rooms where they were pressing for. If there's a door that closes, because I've developed this faith, I know another one has already opened, and it's just a matter of me turning around to look instead of panicking. Once you find it, then you can find it everywhere. You can find it in the most challenging situation with the most challenging people, and then you win. It's an illusion to think that, oh, this is all me, and now it's all on my shoulders. No, I still do the work, but I know who's bearing all of this weight, and I'm just doing my part.
I don't really believe that.
Exactly.
I think he does give you more than you can bear so you can realize you need him.
Oh my God, this is so huge. For you, it's just another moment. And there's no pressure to do something other than be yourself, to be the light, to be the love. It's about making sure that you pour into yourself first. Start the day full. Then everything else, all the other priorities, they fall into place.
When you're driving past something, you don't notice everything. When you start walking past it, you notice things that you've never seen before when you were driving past it a million times. My wife has been very instrumental in not only checking me, but showing me love. We've been married 19 years, so I've learned I have to balance that out. And
y'all should do a show. That's a masterclass right there. You have to show up for yourself the same way you're showing up for that paycheck, for that work, for that boss, for those coworkers every day. Wake up early for a month, weekends too. Get up and watch how things start changing. I want the whole world to wake up to this love.
Welcome to Credit Chats, where we deep dive into the financial maze and uncover how everything from your daily coffee to your dream home impacts your credit score. I'm LeBaron, and thank you for joining us. Each episode will explore the ins and outs of personal finance, hear from experts, and answer your questions. So tune in, take notes, and transform your financial journey with us. Let's get started. Hey, welcome everybody to another Credit Chats. We have Nikki Walton here. Thank you for joining us, Nikki. Curly Nikki.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. And I know you were saying a little bit about you're not a financial expert, but you are a love expert. So it all comes back to love.
It's about pouring. We pour out what we have. And it seems, at least for me, in my case, and in a lot of people's case that I talk to, that more comes back.
Exactly. And I found you because my brother, he put me on to your morning podcast.
Yeah, good mornings.
And I've been listening ever since. And you have a new book, Wake Up to Love.
Yes. Thank you for supporting me.
Absolutely. And we met in person at one of your meditation meetups because we're close to each other in the same neighboring cities.
Yeah.
So,
are you in St. Pete or Tampa?
I'm in Tampa.
Tampa, very nice.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. Those are very powerful, and it's been a little chilly, but now it's warm, but I'm leaving town, but hopefully when I get back, we can do another one.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's get into it though. How did you first get started on your journey as a blogger, author, podcaster, and what inspired you to create Curly Nikki?
My own insecurity. I did not like my hair. I did not feel comfortable in my own skin. I didn't feel good unless my hair was straight. And since my hair does not grow naturally straight as a psychology major in college, I'm like, this cannot be healthy. And so the only thing I knew how to do growing up, like I learned how to keep it straight. I didn't know how to take care of it. And so learning, I taught myself by researching, and I was on the internet in these forums, and eventually like I became so popular as Curly Nikki, just a random name that I chose for a forum. Like I became so popular in those. They were like, if you create something, we'll come just to get your advice and to see your product reviews and recommendations. And I was nervous, didn't know anything about like HTML or
Yeah.
coding or anything but Google. I just Googled around until I figured it out. And I launched a site with about 300 readers from those forums, and
Wow.
then got myself on the Tyra Banks show. I remember messaging, and this is big. If there's anybody you want to work with, just email them, find them or their people and email their top people or them. And so
Right.
I messaged their head web person, and I was like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm trying to get to Tyra. I want to get on the show and share about this natural hair movement because it's helping a lot of Black women. They're like, we can't get you on the show, but you can be on the website. And so I wrote a couple of articles and I sent my whole audience, my whole power behind me to their site, and it got her attention. Like they saw a
Nice.
spike in traffic. And pretty soon after that, they had me on the show, and my site went from doing 300 folks a day to millions a month, just
Wow.
like overnight. And it
Wow.
continued to grow and grow. And I wrote a book with HarperCollins in 2013. And at
Mm.
that point, I was already over it because, like, I felt like I had helped so many people, and I felt good about the work that I had done in getting manufacturers to change their ingredients to support our health and to support
Right.
our hair as opposed to what we were doing before. Everything changed in the Black hair care space. I was not happy though, like personally, spirit, and I knew I needed to dig deeper. And so I was on my own spiritual journey behind the scenes while on all the TV shows and in all the magazines and on red carpets, NAACP Image Award nominations, like all of that was going on. But I'm like, there's more here. And
Right.
it's not more accolades that we think we need. Here, there's something here that can't be filled by all of that stuff. And
Right.
so meditating, I started meditating in 2013, and it completely changed my life. And I started sharing more about this in about 2017, 2018 with a lot of filters because I was
Yeah.
scared. I didn't know how people would receive it. But just like with the hair movement, I have to help people. So if I'm on something and it's helping me free myself, then I have to share. I have no choice. I did ask God, I'm like, can I not talk about you in public? Could I just keep talking about hair and beauty and just radiate you? And he was like, nah, here we are. And so I just basically started over from scratch, like sharing this and reaching out to new folks to try to get this message out. And I started a podcast after waking up every single day at 5 in the morning during COVID,
Yeah.
praying and chanting. And the podcast was just a natural outcropping of that. And with launching that, Breakfast Club, it's like God
Nice.
just positions me. And as long
Yeah.
as I'm listening, and not just listening, but being obedient in what I hear, I'm always taken care of. And that goes for you who's listening. You have to listen, which means you have to get quiet and sit down and get still. And then you have to act
Right.
on whatever comes up, like whatever you get excited about. Don't let yourself talk yourself out of it.
Yeah. Quick action is one of the things that you have to
Yes.
take. But even this morning, when I listened to your podcast this morning, one of the things that you were saying was for love to show me that you are enough, because that was one of the things that you wrote down in 2018. And
Yep.
I have been going through this space where I've been looking for, and I know I'm enough. I know it, but because I got it on my shirt here, and
I love that. Enough, so you can remind yourself.
right. And one of the things that I had to revisit today, because this is one of the spaces where I've heard God the most clearly, but it's not because he hasn't been talking. It's just because I'm listening now. And that's one of the things we have to get back to. Like when you ask a question, what do you do after you ask a question? You get quiet so you can hear the answer.
Yeah.
So thank you for all of the nuggets that you drop in your podcast, because it seems like you're only talking to me every morning.
Thank you. I'm happy that it reaches you. I get still enough, and then Nikki stops, and that
Mm,
love starts. But when I'm rushing, I can tell it's Nikki, and then I have to start over. And so
right.
whenever I can tell when that switch happens, and
Mm,
that must be when it reaches you to get quiet. Because that's all the words are only there to hold
yeah.
you in your own silence there.
And you alluded to the first book that you wrote. Was that the Better Than Good Hair book?
Yeah, that's it,
Okay.
Better Than Good Hair,
All right.
and even
So
that's all God. I was working with guest bloggers a lot because I was
yeah.
put maybe 3 to 5 articles a day on curlynikki.com in its heyday,
Mhm.
and one of my top guest bloggers would sign off in her email to me, like, author and blah, 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 and one day, I was just like, "Hey, we should write a book together someday," and she wrote back and was like, "I can get a proposal together right now," and she did with my help, and then she was like, "Oh, I forgot. We got to run this by my publisher first." And I'm like, "Who's
Right.
your publisher?" And she's HarperCollins. I'm like, "Oh, okay, we'll run it by your publisher and we'll see what they have to say." So just divine grace, as long as you're walking your path and your path is unlike everyone else's. They say if you know where you're headed, you're on somebody else's path. I never know. I don't know right now. I just
Yeah.
can see the next step and I take it.
And that's probably been the theme of everything that I'm doing right now, because I started with the 10-day Dear Jesus, take over, take over everything. And after that, everything started to change. Not in the sense of I had control over it, because of course I'm asking Jesus to take control. And now I'm off my job. I'm looking at what I'm doing that fulfills me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just like you said, I have no idea where this is going now.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Nope, nope.
It's not, because it's not me anymore. And
And it's not for you to know yet. It's for you to trust. You just have to
yep.
continue to trust. And the trust feels like love. The trust sounds like
Mm,
silence. And you get shown exactly when you need it and not a moment before.
right.
Never, it's never early. It has never, not once been early for me. I learn usually as you're learning. Like, oh,
Well,
now we're waking up at 4 some in the morning and we're chanting and praying together. Got it.
yep. That doesn't make me feel good, but, just like GPS, you
Yes.
it doesn't tell you two stops before, it
That's
tells you
good.
only the next ones.
It
Once you do that, I'll give you the next thing,
That's it.
and that's where I'm at now. Like, the next thing for me is to get this app out, because I know I'm in the credit space,
Yes.
helping educate young adults, aspiring investors, all of that, to understand their own credit, but and just like you said, I can't keep this information to
You
myself,
gotta
and it
share.
seems like all of the times that I talk to people, somehow, some way, God shows up,
Yep.
and I have to talk about them. I have to let them know the stuff that I've been through, and by encouraging them, I encourage myself.
That's it. That's it. That's exactly it. We teach what we most need to learn. That's what has been my experience. Whatever you hear me saying and you're like, "Oh, she's talking to me." I'm also talking to Nikki. Love is talking to Nikki too.
So let's get to, what are the biggest financial or professional hurdles that you had to overcome building your platform and your brand?
Finding partners that respect the
Mm,
vision because I am stubborn and I was around before the influencer game even came to be a thing. Like
yeah.
curlynikki.com was in existence before Instagram.
Mm,
And so when that hit, when there were brands that were like, "Nikki, could you do a product like basically a commercial?" And I'm like, "No, but what we can do is I can take your products to Tokyo to the troops that are stationed there and can't come home for Christmas, and then we
right.
can do some interesting content around Black women that are in Tokyo at Christmas that need hair care products because the army
Right.
doesn't have that type of stuff in the store." That kind of stuff with
That's
every
awesome.
brand. And that's what I did for 12 years. But it's hard to get people to listen to your
Mhm.
idea and not just push their agenda. But then when they see the success of those campaigns, you be able to get a little bit more traction, but you have to get in the room. And
Yeah.
it's just about finding the right folks, finding your door, and I
Mhm.
always found a door into those big companies.
And even the way that we got connected was, like, unorthodox, and I just reached out to you. I was like, "You wanna do podcast?" You said, "Sure." And that's where it starts, like, making that connection, and I'm like,
Ex
"Who am I to ask somebody?" And it's, you are somebody to ask.
exactly, exactly. No, I'm so thankful that you reached out to me.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for your spirit, your integrity, like, all of the things that show up when people talk to you. Like, you can tell, even when you're talking on your blog in the morning, like, you can tell you're just a genuine human being.
Thank
So thank you.
you. When I met you, I could feel your light, and I had not known you, like, from anybody else at the event, and you walked up
Wow.
to me, and I gave you a big hug, and I could feel how transparent you were to the light. Like, people, we only meet, we're destined to meet, and we're only ever able to see each other because we're on the same wavelength.
Right. Well, thank you for that. Definitely, thank you. Curly Nikki disrupted the hair and beauty industry. What challenges did you face creating that space for natural hair conversations, and how did you make it thrive?
Oh, so many challenges.
Nikki Walton is the best-selling author, NAACP Image Award nominee, and popular podcaster known for her industry-changing blog, curlynikki.com. She's been featured on major platforms like Tyra, Today, Steve Harvey, and The Breakfast Club, and Dr. Oz, as well as in Forbes, New York Times, and The Guardian. Over the past decade, Nikki has expanded her mission from outer beauty to inner transformation. After traveling the world in search of spiritual truth and meditating for hours daily, she found the essence of love within. Her journey inspired her latest book, Wake Up to Love, which encourages readers to awaken to their soul, their purpose, and their connection to God. I figured I'd take the time to go ahead and do that since we were.
Absolutely. Is this like, I had no idea the lawn people were going to show up. Is it super loud? I feel
Can't hear it at all.
awful.
Yeah, I
Thank
can't hear it.
God. Like, it's such a distraction.
Yeah, but
I'm horrible.
the Shure mics, they really do
Good
a
job.
real good job of blocking out that noise.
Oh, thank goodness. And when they started, I'm like, here we go. And they just keep getting closer and closer. Okay, thank God. I'm sorry for your editing that you're going to have to do.
No, I do it with these scripts, so it does it automatically.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I've never used this before, but it's probably like Riverside where you can just delete even just whole blocks of words, and that's good.
So it's the same people that make these scripts. So Squadcast just does the video part of it.
That's really cool. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, I forget where we were. Wherever you want to pick back up.
all good. And I think
we might need to for 5 minutes because they're going to be, it's so fast. This is the water and it's just a little strip of grass and it gets really loud for a second, but then they leave. And I don't know why. It seems like every single time I have interviews, they show up. We're in townhomes. And so I don't have control over the timing that they show.
Okay. And how's that getting it back after the hurricane? Like, I know.
So our garage was done.
Wow.
The construction just got finished 2 days ago in the garage. Right. Everything else was fine though. Like the rest of the house is good.
Cool. Yeah. My insurance denied us. So we have to go through attorneys and everything. Yeah. They're like, that was previous wear and tear.
That's ridiculous. So on the house itself, not on your stuff. Your stuff, did you get that covered?
Yeah, we didn't. There was no flooding here. It was just all roof damage because I'm inland. I'm in Riverview actually.
So they're trying to say that it wasn't the storm. That's crap. That's crap.
It is. But don't mess with God's kids.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be good.
Yep.
All you have to do is continue holding this love and not being fooled by any of it. That's all I did because we had to leave twice.
Yeah. I'm glad you're doing a whole lot better.
Yeah, no, we're good now. We're good. And been waking up doing that 4:44 a.m. live, and that's new. And so I'm tired, but we're going to go to Universal for Christmas next week. So I'll take off.
Okay.
I'm looking at the guy now. He's coming past us. Let's see if you can see. Hold on.
You're jeering.
Oh, Christmas. Can you see him out there?
Yeah, I see him.
It looks like he's leaving.
Yeah, and you were talking about Florida post offices earlier. Yeah, I've done some stuff there because being in the credit space, when I started it was more so mailing out the letters for people, but now it's all education because people were coming back to me to help them do it over and over again, and I'm like, this is not what I envisioned.
Yep.
Like, I need to teach you how to make better decisions, how to have better habits.
Yes.
So that's why I started a 6-week challenge with 7 people that I'm doing. Good. And then I'm developing an app from that to micro.
Cool. So it's like a course, and then you're gonna have like apps in the course.
Yep.
Or courses in the app.
Yeah, it's gonna be bite-sized micro levels of building habits, things like that. So
that's really cool. What about speaking engagements? Is that a thing? Like,
I just started looking at that because I'm like, the way that I need to package this, because the 50-foot view, 100-foot view, whatever you want to say, the long term is to give it to kids. So the speaking engagements, like, okay, I have to package it in a way that I have
college age or high school?
Middle school and high school.
Middle school and high school, got it.
Yeah, but I have to package it to have an offering to give it to them to say, okay, this is what I have available for them to say, yeah, we want it, no, we don't, or whatever it is, let's negotiate. So that's what I'm doing now, and I can repurpose the same content that I have for that, as long as I do it at a level 6th grade, 8th grade level. And
when I think it's 6th to 8th grade, is there a way to somehow work with a game developer about this? But I just think about like my son, like there's a game called Prodigy, and it's a math game, but it's educating him real time. And so it's like Roblox. I don't know if you're familiar with that. They're always on that, and there's different rooms and all these different purposes in the rooms. If it was like I don't know how you would have them want to build their credit score, like whatever, but I think that would be interesting.
But I did think about gamifying it to making it like a lemonade stand, to where you have
Oh
to
yeah.
like walk out the things for lemonade stands, and then a developer is going to come and try to give you credit and stuff like that. So I am thinking about that on an animation level, but I didn't think about it on the gamifying level. So yeah, thank you for that. That's something that I was looking at, because a nonprofit that I'm also the treasurer for, that we're looking at gamifying some things for financial literacy.
Oh,
But yeah, that's on the horizon as well.
very
All right, I think we can go to.
okay. Oh, he's
I
not done,
still
but if you
can't hear
can't
it.
hear it, then we can do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
then we can
I
do it.
haven't heard it
'Cause I
so
don't
far.
think it's gonna get louder than what you're hearing. They should be
Okay.
backing off
Yeah,
in
I
a minute.
still don't hear it.
That's wild. Thank you, sure.
Shouts out to Sure. Shouts out.
Exactly.
The last question I asked was, Curly Nikki disrupted the hair and beauty industry. What challenges did you face in creating a space for natural hair conversations?
I found the most challenging was staying authentic, being able to stay myself in rooms where they were pressing for, and
Mm,
people that were less stubborn often got the deals, and not needing to dance on every stage,
mm,
and knowing that the stage that I made it to would be mine, and I could be myself and share my project in the way I wanted to share, because my thing has always been service. Like
mm,
everything I've ever done in my life, even before I started curlynikki.com, I was a psychotherapist, and I was working one-on-one with Black women, helping them deal with anxiety and depression. And that
yeah.
just developed into curlynikki.com, helping more than one person at a time with their anxiety and depression around their appearance and around this self-esteem, the
Mhm,
self-worth. And then that's just blossomed from there, going beyond self entirely. So service has always been my game. And I know that as long as I'm putting service first, I will make money as long as I'm providing a good service. And in
yeah.
this case, a God service, a God directed
Mhm,
service. The money finds its way to me, and it's money that I can feel good about. And it
right.
doesn't dry up. And if there's a door that closes, because I've developed this faith, I know another one has already opened, and it's just
Yeah.
a matter of me turning around to look instead of panicking. And
Mm,
God always shows up in a new avenue with a new opportunity and with a new way to grow. So
wow.
I've never been stuck in one place. And whenever I felt like I was stuck, it's because
Mm,
I hadn't looked around for that next open door. Like
gotcha.
that's it. That's it. It's never you're never lacking. You're
Mhm,
never lacking. It's just a
yeah.
matter of pouring. Like it's Elisha in the Bible, in the
Mm,
oil, the multiplication of the oil. And he was
right.
asking the widow, what do you have? And she's nothing much, like a little bit of oil. And he's like, go get some empty pots
Go
and
get
start
more.
pouring. And she poured and poured and filled all those pots. And
Yeah.
we act like we don't have anything, but we've got a little bit of that peace, a little bit of this love, a
Yeah.
little bit of faith. And all we have to do is just keep pouring a little bit of time into your project. And then you'll feel the motivation to do more and more. And
Mhm,
even when you're not seeing the results, that's not your business. That's not your business. You keep your head down and you keep working and you keep going and showing up. You just have to show up, and God shows out like
mm.
every single time.
Yeah, and that statement is so powerful. Like anytime it was in the Bible, it said, "What do you have? Bring me
What
what you
do you
have."
have? Yes.
And even when he fed the 5,000, he said, "What do you have?"
What do you
That's
have?
that's where it
That's
all
it.
begins.
That's it. And you're
What
like,
do you have?
I'm enough. I'm enough. This right here is what I have. And everything that you need, you have already.
That's in my intro. Everything you need is inside of you.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. You just got to let it out. All the goodness that's in you out into this world.
Yep. So, how did your global travels and spiritual journey transform your approach to both your personal and professional life?
I recognized very quickly how alike everybody is, no matter where I went, no matter which country, which city, whether I was in Brazil or like when I was in South Africa or
Mm,
when I was in Madrid, it was always presence, the same love. Even when I was on airplanes between the cities, between the countries, it
mm.
was the same. I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm in a church or an ashram or a temple, it's the same love every single time. And so once I started waking up to that, I recognized I don't have to go on pilgrimage. It's
Mm.
very fun to go on pilgrimage. I love traveling, but I can feel that same love that I feel in a basilica, in an
Mm,
ancient temple right here in Clearwater Beach, Florida. I can feel it in an alleyway. I don't prefer to feel it in an alleyway, but you can wake up to it anywhere, in
yeah.
Walmart, in Target. It's always there. And once you find it, then you can find it everywhere. You can find it in the most challenging situation with the most challenging people. You can find it right there in the midst of you. And then you win. You win no matter what. If you can be that peace in the chaos, you win.
Yeah. And I think I'm learning that more in the space that I'm in now, where everything's uncertain. But in the same instance, there are days where you're happy, there are days where you're sad. But the only difference between, because the situation doesn't change, the only difference is how you view it. And so you can choose. It's a choice
It
after
is
that.
to watch that you are the one that's aware. If I'm talking about myself, I'm
Mm,
aware of happy Nikki. I'm aware of sad Nikki. I'm neither of those in truth. If we want to get all the
mhm,
way deep, you're the awareness of the happy you
mhm,
and the sad you. And what you are does not change no matter what's out here. So even when Nikki is sad, I can still become aware of myself as love. I can still
right.
wake up as love, even when Nikki is like scared or
Mm,
frustrated. And that is freedom when you can separate just enough to be like, I am is
yeah.
here. And that's the peace that goes beyond understanding because it doesn't make sense for you to be able to be peaceful in a situation that would not call for peace
Yeah.
unless I'm watching this. I'm
Mhm,
witnessing this. I'm not the one involved in this freaking out. And then you can
yeah.
be of more service and help more from that
Yeah.
position.
And I think even then, there's a lot of people on the outside looking in to some of the things that I've been led to do, and it doesn't make sense to them, but it doesn't have
Mhm.
to.
Exactly.
I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me, but
Nope. Nope.
but it doesn't
Definitely
have
ain't gonna
to.
make sense to you. And as soon as you stop caring about how other people perceive your moves, that helps too. You gotta care,
Yeah,
but not care. Care
yeah.
about them, but not care about what they think.
I've
Oftentimes,
had
what you think they're thinking is just projection of your own
yeah,
fears.
yep. And I've had 40 years of not caring what people think, so I'm pretty
Excellent.
good about that.
Excellent. I'm new. I'm a newbie in that, maybe the last 10, 15 years.
No,
That's
but
a hard one.
your book, Wake Up to Love, focuses on self transcendence. How did this philosophy shape your business decisions and your brand evolution?
Helped me again become aware. And so as long as I'm not the stressed out Nikki, as long as I can say, this is not my business. This is not my
Mm,
family. This is God's family. This is God's business. Jesus, you take care of it. And that's
mm,
not me like washing my hands of responsibility. I'm
right.
still very much in the trenches doing the work, and it still looks like my business and my family. But
Yeah.
there's that background tension, that background anxiety is gone because I know who's actually holding
Mm,
all of this up. I know who's here supporting all of this. And I know I would not be here if it wasn't for God. And so it's an illusion to think that, oh, this is all me and now it's
mhm,
all on my shoulders. No, I still do the work, but I know who's bearing all of this weight and I'm
right.
just doing my part. So it
Mhm,
helped me be more free to be myself. It's like they say it's like a free fall, but you
mm,
learn there's no ground. And so it's you can fall without fear. And so
yeah,
it's always just you're reaching and grabbing, trying to hold ourselves up. You could just lean back and
yeah.
fall into his hands because you're safe. You're safe.
And there's a lot of people that they sing about they sing this and all that stuff. He'll never put more on you than you can bear, and I don't really believe that.
Exactly.
I think he does give you more than you can bear so you can realize you need him.
Yep, that'll preach. Is that what they say? That'll preach.
Church.
No, that's it. That's been my experience. He gives me just enough to turn back to him again, to know, oh, that's right. I can't do this without you. I was
Yeah.
tripping again. I was out here thinking it was all me again. But now it's like you turn around and God is, you ready now? Good.
Yeah. And you've been featured on major platforms like Breakfast Club, Steve Harvey, Forbes, and you talked about this a little bit about how those opportunities came about, but how did that impact your career?
It's been very helpful. I will tell you that nothing is ever like life changing. Like I've got some big interviews coming up. This for me is a big interview. Like every time you sit down and you get to bare your soul, it's major. And so,
Yeah.
showing up in every moment of your life, this is it. This is the moment. Then when those moments where people are like, "Oh my god, this is so huge," for you it's
Yeah.
just another moment and there's no pressure to do something other than be yourself, to
Right.
be the light, to be the love. I can say, obviously, like with Breakfast Club, there was a bump in viewers and
Mhm.
listeners to the podcast. But again, Nikki, maybe it looked like I sent the DM to Angela Yee. It looked like I sent that message to Charlemagne, like I slid into their DMs
Yeah.
and like they responded. But I'm sure. thousands of people slide into their DM. It's like
Mhm.
God works through people. And
Yeah.
sometimes you don't even know, like, they don't even know. So you just have to be knocking on doors. But I always am super thankful for the opportunity as they're happening and still fully aware that it's only God alone every time. And as long as you remember that no matter what, it's only God, then more opportunities to remember that it's only God will show up.
Mhm. And I know you have a lot of different roles when it comes to being a wife, a mother, a auntie, a sister, whatever it is. How do you juggle those roles when you and how do you organize it?
So I think the biggest thing for me, and I'm an ex-wife actually. I've
Okay.
been an ex-wife for a few years, but it's about making sure that you pour into yourself first. So
Mhm.
that's why I said I needed to start waking up before the house.
Right.
Waking up at 5 a.m. was incredibly important for my career, for my
Mhm.
spiritual life, but also for my career. So as long as you start the day full, then everything else, all the other priorities, they fall into place. It has
Okay.
to be God, and then family and work fall in. When I
Mm.
was prioritizing work 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I could see the imbalance because there's always something to do. There's a like
Yeah.
right now, I did so much since 4 a.m. There's still a million things to do. I still have a million things to do today, but I
Mhm.
also have to be a mom today. And
Right.
it's more and more now, even knowing I have a million things to do, I'm like, let's take a walk. Let's go get some ice cream. And that is very different from how I used to be, driven by the world. Now it's
Mhm.
love. And the things still get done. They still
Right.
get done.
And that's again, that like everything you go through, it seems like you're talking to me because that's where I have to get to as well, like prioritizing and then making my routine so that the major things that I need to do are first.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
mental work is the major thing.
It is, it is, and you have children, you said?
I do.
How
Yeah.
many?
I have 23 and 14.
23. Okay, so they're older, but still, like, however your day would usually go, where it's like
Mhm.
they're home working and, like, your 14-year-old's doing homework and you're doing your thing. Change it up one day. Like, I've been doing that lately where it's like we're supposed to go home and do this, and you do this,
Right.
and I do this, and I'm like, "Let's take a walk today." And it
Okay.
was so much fun, and we've been doing that more and more, like, to the point now where I'm like, "You wanna take a walk?" They're like, "No, we got stuff to do."
Ma'am.
And right, it's really powerful to just slow down.
Yeah.
We think that we need to speed up, more attention, more work, go harder. And everything I've been showing lately, been being shown is slow
Yeah.
down just a bit, and then you can see more. You can see more. He'll
Yeah.
show you more. The days that I slow down the most is when I had major breakthroughs. The day that I went to the
Mhm.
beach instead of working, I went to the beach with the kids. When I
Mhm.
got home that night to do the work I didn't do that day, I found out I was on the billboard in Times Square. But of course, there were days I was busy before
Yeah.
that, but I don't think I feel like God was talking to me, like, and y'all went to the beach, had a whole beach day and hadn't done that in
Mhm.
months. Did a whole beach day just out of the blue.
Yeah.
And then that night while working, I got that news, you know?
That's awesome. And I feel like that's the mantra. I've been telling this because I'm very active in my church too. And that was one of the things that I brought to one of our meetings because I'm on leadership. And I'm like,
So
we need to
cool.
slow down to speed up.
Yes.
Once you slow down, and I told my daughter this, and again, this is all for me too. And the major thing that I told my daughter, the imagery, because I use a lot of metaphors and things like that.
Mhm.
I'm like, when you're driving past something, you don't notice everything. When you start walking past it, you notice things that you've never seen before when you were
Exactly.
driving past it a million times.
Yep.
So when you slow down, like you said, and my wife told me this yesterday, she was like,
Yeah.
I think you need to slow down. And the peace be still is what resonated yesterday. But the slow down to speed up was more of what has
That's
been
it.
recurring.
Slow
So
down and speed up. That makes me think of when you've heard that where they pull back the bow and arrow. That arrow
yep.
goes much further. And I've never shot a
Mm,
bow and arrow before, but I can feel
yeah.
that imagery real strong.
And you seemingly feel like you're going backwards, but
Yes.
you get more momentum because you do the smaller things or because you build the foundation and because you make the foundation one where you can build on it. So
Exactly.
pulling
Exactly.
that back, the further you go back, and it's just going to launch you further forward
Yeah. You
and
know what?
faster.
I had to make the hard decision. So next week I'm gonna be on vacation for Christmas.
Mhm.
And I've been doing these wake up calls with my audience. It's 90 of us praying every morning
Right.
at 4:44 a.m. Eastern. And I was going to continue. And the kids were like, you should take a break, take off. And I'm like, I can't. People need me during Christmas. People are sad. They've lost moms and dads and grandpas and they're grieving. And they were like, Mom, you have to take a break too. Service workers also have to take breaks. And I'm like, I can't. And so I've gone back and forth. But I think I'm finally, after this conversation, it feels like I am being confirmed in I'll take a break next week and
You
pull that arrow back
good for you.
and rest, even though I'm going to a amusement park, so it's gonna be anything but slow. I'll be the slowest walking person in Universal Studios. They'll be like, "She's a monk walking through us."
Universal is fun though, but at least
Mhm.
and you'll see the joy on your kids' faces and you'll be able to relax and none of that is done by you. So
Yes. Yes, that's true.
it's all Universal staff.
That's true. That is true. That is true. So thank you for this, for the reminder, and I'm reminding you to rest whenever you feel that urge to just sit back, you know?
Yeah. Because I'm a nerd inherently and I do a
Mhm.
lot of things and I do a lot of things well.
Yes.
So it can get to the point, and I actually just had to write down all of the things that I'm doing that I want to do and make it.
That was a long list. I didn't
Yeah.
see it for long, but
Hold
that
on,
was a lot, and it's little writing, it's tiny letters. It's a lot on that
All
page.
right, let's not talk about me anymore. No, but that's the thing. My wife was like, write down the things that you have to do. And my wife has been very instrumental in not only checking me, but showing me love. And
Yeah,
I
stilling you,
can't.
it sounds like, getting you quiet.
She does. She does. Cause she's the sporadic one. Let's go with the flow. And I'm the structured one. I'm like,
That's a
we
good
have to have a
balance,
plan.
though. That's a good balance.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
vibe with her very well. Her be like, "Let's go to Africa." You'd be like, "No, y'all cannot go to Africa
But
tomorrow."
I when she says stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, no, I
Because
love
I've
it, I
learned.
love it, I
We've been
love
married 19 years, so I've learned
it.
I have to balance that out, and that
Y'all should
was
do a show. That's a master class right there.
okay. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
about it.
Y'all should. I bet that'd
We're
be
over the
very
marriage ministry
powerful.
at my church.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I guess you
Yep.
can't bring cameras in there, people with their private stories, but y'all should sit down and do a thing. Maybe there's some people in the ministry that'd be willing to sit down with y'all, like a panel, Q&A. Exactly, I'm sorry, I'm adding to your list. Tell your wife I'm sorry, maybe she'll be excited about it.
No, she loves it though. We vibe really well together, and of course, I'm the witty one, but she's also learned how to be
Yep.
a lot more witty than me now. Like she circles around me with wittiness
Oh,
now.
that's amazing. I hope to meet her too soon.
Yeah, yeah, and we're in the same city, so we've connected now, and I'm sure we'll do more
Absolutely.
things together.
Our
What
kids are the
advice would
same
you
age, 14-year-old. My daughter is 14.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, he's 15.
Oh,
He
okay, I'm
turned
different.
15 in November. I keep forgetting,
Yep.
but he's a freshman in high school.
Very nice.
Um, so yeah, we can definitely meet up and get them on the meeting path.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give someone looking to pivot from their traditional career path
Mm.
to one rooted in creativity and entrepreneurship?
I would say keep doing your traditional thing. Don't let anybody tell you that it's whack or not important. However, you have to show up for yourself the same way you're showing up for that paycheck, for that work, for that boss, for those
Mhm.
coworkers every day. You have to show up like that for you because what we do is we say, "Oh, I'm tired today. Like I'll do my stuff tomorrow."
Yeah,
No, you got to do your stuff today like it's already paying you. You have to do your thing and do your podcast like you're talking to millions of people already. You got to write like you're writing to millions of people already because you are. You just can't see them. Everything is there already. And
right.
so waking up a little bit earlier. I was listening to some preacher and he was saying how actors will work out at the gym from 5 to 7 a.m. to get a role. And we won't wake up 15 minutes before our alarm to
Mm,
pray, to get focused, to write in our journal. Get up, you want different, you got to be different. You got to
yeah.
change something significantly every day. So
Mhm.
for me, it went from waking up at 6:37 to waking up at 5. And it's not fun. I'm still not a morning person. And I tell myself every day, you can take a nap later. I never do. Every now and then, maybe I get time, but usually I don't. I never get to lay back down. But that time is so powerful. And in that time, you don't have to be somebody for anybody, not
All
even for
right.
your wife or your husband or your kids, because hopefully they're still asleep. And so there it's not mama or daddy or what. It's you're just love. You're just hearing God. That's
Right.
all. And responding to God. And that's when things start shifting. That's when we
Mm.
start moving. Do that for a month. Wake up early for a month. Weekends too. Don't because you'll fall back if you just stop for a month. Get up and watch how things start changing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
But yeah, what's next for you after Wake Up to Love? And are there any new projects, goals, ideas that you're excited to explore?
I want the whole world to wake up to this love. God wants to bring that about. I am here to do. And right now, the most exciting thing, more exciting to me even than the book, more exciting to me than the podcast, is waking up and praying with the audience every morning live. Feels very powerful and very necessary. And so even taking a break from it feels scary because that energy, that momentum is there. And so I have no idea what's next, but I know that God was very loud and clear about this, and it's helping a lot of people.
Mm, yep. Yeah, the loud and clear. That's what we got to
Loud
hear.
and
The
clear.
GPS or the
Yes, the
JPS,
GPS,
whichever.
the GPS, exactly, JP. That's so funny. I love it. I love it.
No, but I know people can find you on curlynikki.com. But where is that the best place to find you, or
Yeah, everything. The
Instagram?
book is on curlynikki.com. My social channels you can find on curlynikki.com. The podcast is on curlynikki.com. It's Good
Okay.
Mornings with Curly Nikki every day. And also the live stream that we do is on Instagram, Facebook, but it's
Mm.
also on curlynikki.com. We pray the rosary every morning, every weekday morning, and it's beautiful.
I thank you. I appreciate you, Nikki, and you're my sister now. So
Yes. My God brother.
there you go. Thank you again for being on here. And this has been another Credit Chats. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Love you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Were you about to leave without hitting that like and subscribe button? I mean, you'll be back, right? So why not save yourself the hassle and just do it now? It's like putting your keys by the door, or packing your lunch, or packing 3 days before your flight and not the night of. It just makes life easier. Oh wait, did you just do it? I knew you had it in you. I appreciate that. See you next time. Same place, same channel. And remember, everything you need is inside of you.